So I've got a different camera angle in this video, and that's because I want to use this video to give you a little tutorial about how to use your compass. So this is a tool that you may not have ever used before. Some students get a little bit frustrated at it because it takes a little getting used to. But don't be too frustrated. Remember, it took you years and years to learn about how to hold a pencil properly and get to draw and write things that looked like you were trying to draw and write. It will not take you years to get used to the compass, but just be patient with yourself and give yourself the 15 minutes or half an hour if that's what it takes for you to get strong at it. Let me give you a little tour here of the way that the compass works. It's got two different legs, and they're called, I'm going to use the technical names here. This is called the pencil end, and this is called the pointy end. And there's some sort of technology here to keep the pencil firmly in place so that it doesn't move. And the other thing is that these two legs are kind of stiffly connected to each other by the center point, so that once I set a distance between them, I can kind of wiggle it a little, but that angle doesn't change. And that's going to be a really important feature of what we're doing here with a compass. All right. If you're using the compass and you find that this is wobbly, you'll notice that there's a little screw right there in the middle. And so if you take a normal Phillips head screwdriver, or this is kind of a mini Phillips head screwdriver, depending on what you've got, if you just get in there and give it a tiny little twist to the right, you're going to find that it gets a lot tighter. Remember, valuable life lesson: left to loosen, right to tighten when you're tightening screws or bottle caps or things like that. So we're going to set this to a distance, and let me move the camera down. And notice how when I'm putting the compass on the paper, I've got all the weight here on the pointy end. I'm putting all of my pressure down on that end because I don't want the pointy end to move. All right, so I'm keeping that point drilling right into the paper, and I can spin around the pencil as freely as I want to, and the pointy end isn't moving at all. All right, you notice that? So now that I'm doing that, whoops, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this and just bring the pencil closer and closer to the paper while still putting all of the pressure on the pointy end. And once I do that, once I get the pencil to touch the paper, you notice that I'm drawing a part of a circle here. Sometimes if you want to draw the whole circle, it's honestly easier to move the paper than it is to kind of swing the compass around to an awkward angle. And what you see is I've got a really nice looking circle there when I did that. All right. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that you'll notice that when I'm using this to do constructions, I'm very often not drawing an entire circle. There are very few needs, at least in my class, when you'll need to draw a whole circle. If you ever want to draw circles for an art project or something like that, then you'll need to do that, obviously. But one thing that I will do instead, let's say that I've got this extra point here, and using the same distance here, I want to find the points where the point and the circle I just originally drew are the same distance apart. So what I'm going to do is I don't need to draw an entire circle for that. I just need to draw those two intersection points. And once again, as I'm doing this drawing, I'm not putting a ton of pressure on the pencil. So the pencil isn't moving up and down in the compass, and I'm not putting so much pressure that the distance between the two ends is changing. As long as you keep all of your pressure on the pointy end, I think you're going to notice that those things happen a lot differently. So you notice I have those two arcs that I drew. That's all I drew of that second circle, but they are enough for me to draw these 2 points. And if I can remember where I put the center of the first circle, let's see if I've got a fun shape here. So I connect all of my points. And I've got, I don't know, just a little diamond shape, I guess. So nothing terribly exciting came out of that. But the idea here is that this is how you use a compass to draw arcs. And we'll start in soon on doing actual constructions where we're creating objects that have important qualities that are going to let us solve problems that are important to us.